What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of HRTea. I hope your week was swell. I am super duper uber excited for this episode. And I know I say that every fucking week, but I really mean it this week because our guest today is the man, the myth, the legend, Max. I bet most of you know who Max is if you're an OG who's been watching since day one. I know you know who Max is. Max has edited almost all of my podcast episodes up to like episode 50 or whatever. And then my lovely girlfriend took it over, which I love you so much. And he edits all of my After Dark episodes. So Max has done so much for this podcast. I cannot thank him enough. I love him with all my heart. He's my best friend. And I got to talk to him today about trans issues and how maybe some cis people see trans people and how trans men can befriend cis men. And I don't know, it was really cool because I've never asked Max some of these questions before. So it was cool to see how a cis man who is just so respectful and so kind in every aspect of his life be open about how he got to thinking that way and how he is the way that he is. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. It was one of my favorites, but I'm biased because I love him so much. If there is one thing I have ever asked of you, this is the most important thing I have ever asked. Please, for the love of God, please go follow The Deep End on social media and go support Max's music because he is so freaking talented. Him and his band just dropped a new song called Terminal. I be shaking my ass to that shit at least 4 times a day. I promise you, it is literal fucking drugs in a song, okay? So please go do that. I would appreciate it. Go subscribe to my Patreon, please. I am on my knees begging for you. And join my Discord while you're at it because you might as well. I would appreciate it. Subscribe to me on YouTube, maybe. That would be cool too. Turn on my post notifications. If you're feeling spicy, I drop videos every Tuesdays and Fridays. And go follow me on Twitch because I stream video games every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I love you all so much. Please enjoy this episode. And please comment below. Give my boy Max some love. He would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it. And that's about it. Let's go talk to Max. I love you guys so much. Okay, bye. Now I got to ask you all the questions.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I am so excited for this episode. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, that ripped.
That was pretty good, right?
That was good. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I want to keep that in. That's fucking hilarious. I didn't even know I could do that. Keep that in.
Keep that in, Cat.
Yeah, now you get to say it to Cat.
I'm gonna be Tyler.
So where you from, dude?
Should I drop our exact location? I'm from Long Island, New York. Very close to this guy right here.
Very close. Now, how does Long Island treat you as a cis man?
Oh, dude. I'm glad I finally have a platform to talk about this. It is so bad. It's horrible. It's so rough out here, guys.
That's so funny.
This is, no complaints here. I feel it would be wild if there were, but it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
Long Island is nice.
I mean, as a trans man, because I guess I've never really talked about myself, how New York or Long Island treats me as a trans man. It kind of fucks, to be honest. It ain't bad out here. Now, I haven't ever really talked about how you and I started being friends. I don't think everybody knows who Max is, but they don't really know the Max lore. So we went to high school together, right? And I always knew who you are, Max. I always knew who you were. You were the fucking
Same.
You were the cool ass motherfucker in a band who dressed really cool. I really wanted to be your friend, but I was too anxious and weird to do anything about it. And then you started dating my best friend, Nikki. Nikki also has her own podcast episode. You should go check it out. Don't remember what episode it was, but maybe Kat will throw it on screen. And then a beautiful friendship bloomed. Wouldn't you say? Tell them you like
Cody,
me.
I would say so very enthusiastically that is true. And no, of course I knew you in high school too. Like it was not one of those situations where I unfortunately would have to like backtrack and be like, oh yeah, like I remember you. Like, no, you supported my music early on, which is an immediate green flag into my life. That's in high school especially, because it's funny that that's your perspective. That's very sweet of you to say. Maybe because we were in different grades, but that was not the perspective in my grade. But it so if anyone supported my music at that time, especially when was bad, that was
Was it bad?
that's love. That's love. And then
Okay.
I I don't know if it was college time for me or COVID. I don't know when it was, but we don't need to keep this in either. But I got jewel pods from you, and that actually was a huge factor in our friendship. That was like we started
That's
having like
facts.
weekly
Yeah.
quick visits, and then I would come over with Nikki and we would hang.
I always forget. I went through a vaping phase just like everybody else. Nobody fucking judged me, but I did
We don't
sell
vape
this
anymore,
man.
guys.
No, we do not vape anymore. We just use nicotine pouches. But I did sell this man jewel pods, and then a beautiful friendship blossomed.
It would have happened anyway, but that may have fast tracked it because I got to reach out to you individually,
Mm-hmm. Period. I absolutely
and
love it.
now we're here, obviously much beyond the jewel pods is insignificant. We don't even think about that anymore. We've done so much better things. I hate that I said that.
No, I love it. I always forget about it. I think it's fucking hilarious. It did kind of it kick-started the friendship, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was I think when we started like texting.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe we had texted briefly before, but that
The
was
jewel
weekly
pods were my
because
in. Yeah.
well,
because I had an addiction.
Cody, yeah, you also weren't a dealer. Let me be straight. You had supply through some family member that had a store or something. He's clear.
That's bad funny. Now, I do have a question that I don't think I've ever asked you. Before I came out as trans, did you know any other trans person besides me, or no?
Yes. I don't think I knew anybody that transitioned at that time yet. Like I don't think I was super familiar with that whole thing, like the process of that and how that worked, but I think we knew the same person, the high school person that you've referenced
Mm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around the same time that we started interacting. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you were not the first person that I knew that like was trans, you were the second.
I wasn't the first.
You probably were the first, but like you because it was the same time that you're referring to.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever you've discussed that.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I think they came out like a year before me or whatever. But now you, okay, so that was the only other trans person that you knew of. Do you like remember hearing anything about trans people like in the media or at school or like when I came out or when that person came out? Was that like the first time you heard of trans people?
Oh, like no, I was familiar with what trans was, and I think I was exposed to it in a like into what that was about in a non PC way, like and probably like the what you would imagine like a young cis boy on Long Island would
Mm,
hear about in the year of like 2005 or whatever.
mhm,
It's like just using the wrong words and like not there wasn't any education on that, like
mhm,
I mean I'm sure there was, but no one was seeking it out that was
right.
talking to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I ask because, and I know I've told you this a million times, but I, you and your entire family blow my mind sometimes. Like the way, I don't know, like it's why I want to ask, like, if you being so open-minded as a cis man has anything to do with how you were brought up or you were raised, because like from you to your brother to your parents to your sister, like you're all just so good people. You're just great fucking people. And like I understand that like cis men don't deserve a cookie for being respectful, but also when there's like none, there's so very few, maybe you do deserve a cookie, you know what I mean? Like, so like do you think you being so open-minded and respectful, because you always have been, no matter where you were in life, like I remember you when you were, I was a freshman, I think, and you were a sophomore, you were always so kind. And cis men aren't always like that. So like do you think it was maybe the way you were raised or the people you were hanging out with that made you that way, or you think you're just fucking born that way?
No, I mean, thank you. That's very sweet. I think my whole family would give you a hug for that. That's so kind. I mean, my dad just was talking about this the other day when I was like my bandmates are talking to him about their career paths and things, and I'm here like making music and editing videos and doing like my little thing, and he's like, "Listen, like my main goal as a parent was for my kids to be like kind and respectful. Maybe use I won't air him out on this whole conversation, but like the focus was that just kindness, treating people with respect, you know, basic human kind of things, and maybe that's why I'm not like you know making bank on Wall Street right now, but I think it's also why I think when I was younger, I might have had more of an open mind than I would have because it was like my dad's also an amputee. So like I guess that's like the first exposure. I'm just thinking about this now that I have to like
Mm,
someone being different and perceived differently by other people. And he would always stress like when I was around like the clinics that he would work at with other kids who were amputees and stuff. It's like, you never look at anybody different or talk to anybody different no matter what. Like, you know, thumbs up.
100% does that, man.
Obviously you don't want to like if someone's being disrespectful, it's not like you just keep killing them with kindness. Like stand up for yourself, but like be kind, be respectful, and but that also was not like always the case. I don't think like I was never. I always had that in my head, which I think is the key because I grew up in an area too that's just very like where I'm talking about. It's just like a
Mm,
lot of racism in the schools,
mm,
not diverse at all. Um, and hopefully now, if anyone there is trans, they feel comfortable coming out. But I know when I was there was nothing remotely close to that. Like I'm sure if you were bi, it was like a sin.
right. Mm,
And also, it's definitely who you're friends with. Just being in the kind of music world, I think that like I'm always just learning more. And don't get me wrong, like I there have been probably times where like I'm glad that you're saying I was like respectful and nice in high school, but like looking back, I'm like, damn, I hope I was because I was a kid. Like, and I probably said some stupid shit that I didn't know you know,
mhm,
the significance of um about anything. Like, not specifically just like trans people or anything like that, but like because you're always like affected by the other people around you for better or worse. But um starting in high school, I think I surrounded myself with pretty good people.
mhm,
Um and and the music world definitely helps. Just, I mean, if I wasn't friends with you, I don't think I would be nearly as educated. Um, I would like to think I would have equally as an open mind, but it
mm,
definitely helps, like being the editor of this podcast, like with Kat. Like it's like we're getting we're listening to these conversations like all the time. So it's like
mhm,
I'm always learning. I think it would be like rare for a kid in high school, and I'm sure there are now, like with TikTok and how open-minded people are, but like at the time that we grew up to be like how we are now, like that would be
right.
at the time kind of weird. And
Mm,
I don't think I was like this back then. But
mm. Well, I was gonna say, cause like
I hope that doesn't sound like I was transphobic at that time, because that's not remotely what I was saying.
No, no, and you know what? Even if I don't think that you were at all, but even if you were, because I was a little bit like we were so uneducated in high school because nobody ever talked about being trans, like ever. Um, like I remember saying some stupid shit in high school about trans people that I would never say now. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's anyone's fault. It's just just about educating yourself or
Yeah,
being around
straight
it.
up.
But I was gonna say like you know I love that you were raised that way from your dad and stuff. I I get scared for like when I'm a parent one day, even being a trans person, like I just feel like that's such a hard task to like raise your kids respectful. And I guess that's why I'm so blown away at like who you are as a person cuz like cuz they go to school and they hear their stupid friends say stupid shit and like then it's fuck you dad, I don't care. Like I'm going to be terrible to women and I feel like that's most of the time how it goes for people.
I also, I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to this, but I'm sure that a lot of the times it's because they're seeing that's how their fathers talk to their mothers, you know, or
Mm,
the other women in their lives. Like, it's. I remember what the fathers were like of friends I had growing up, and it's like, where's the
mm,
dinner? It's just very traditional and like fucking just cold and rude and like, you know,
mhm.
like there's no respect. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
you're here for me.
Yeah.
Um, and thankfully I'm blessed that my dad is he referred to himself, like my mom was like, what's a snowflake, Dave? And he was like, I would technically be one, I think, to like thank God that my dad and my family are snowflakes, because with being in New York on Long Island, it could go either way. We've seen it, but we and the
Yes.
people that we surround ourselves with, I think, are lucky. And even more credit to those who fucking don't have supportive families and still make their way out of, like, that's, I had it easy and lucky the whole way through. So
Yeah, that when your parents are shit and have shit opinions, it's very much like on your friends. You got to find the right friends at that
right,
point because
exactly.
that's what it was for me for a little while. I mean, I know you know, but like
Tell the people.
my my mom and my dad both have very had Republican views, and I had those same views, which is why I said some out of pocket shit about trans people before I was trans, and then surrounded myself with people like Nikki, for example, who knew her fucking shit in high school and put me in my place sometimes. I was like, hey, Cody, that's wrong. And shook me a little bit. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah,
You are right. It's important. It's 100% important.
yeah, it's just growing up, and some of the people who don't have those kind of growth moments, like, you should be able to look back, unless you were, perfect the whole way through. Like, you should be able to look back and be like, I remember a few times where I was like embarrassed about, like either my friend or like an older person in my life checking me on something that I said ignorantly, like,
Mm,
you know, never with hate, but like ignorantly. It's like, might as well be the same. Fuck, you're being
hmm.
hurtful.
Right.
And and there's a few that I have where it's like, thankfully, like, nothing fucking crazy, but it's like, I'm like, I still cringe at those moments where it's like I had to, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where you learn. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're never checked, you never learn, and that's why you still got these fuckers running around buck wild,
Buck Wild. Point
running
blank.
around buck
Period.
angel.
I also you talked about it a little bit, but I can see how you being involved in the music industry has definitely probably helped you be kinder, I guess, in a way,
Oh
and
yeah,
more
and
respectful.
not even the industry. Like, the industry, I don't know, they might fucking suck. They'd be
True,
using
true, true,
people
true.
just because of what they identify as and what color they are and all this shit. It's fucked
That's
up.
true.
But in the music world, like even just
Mm,
like the scene or whatever, like the local scene, when you're with people like who go to like the type of events that we've gone to, it's just like those are
mm-hmm,
typically a specific type of person, like, that
mm-hmm,
listens to that kind of music and things like that. And obviously
right.
there are fans of Ronnie Radke out there that blow up this fucking theory, but
Mm-hmm,
I think that it's like you'd be much more likely finding someone who's like-minded at a concert because it's so specific to like
Mm-hmm.
genre and like fan bases and all that kind of shit, as opposed to like a school, you know?
Right. That's facts because like also as you just said, like especially in the alternative music world, I guess you're definitely gonna have fans that are trans and are gay, are bi, and all that stuff, and you can't hate your fans. You won't be successful. You know what I mean? So that's 100%. And I like that you
Straight up.
brought up. I like that you brought up Ronnie Radke because I've been thinking about talking about that on After Dark for a while.
Yeah, that's something that like he will respond. Like he
I
will
know.
respond and you will get rated. Just found out what that word is, guys. By by all of his fucking crazy racist, transphobic, fucking homophobic fans.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Ronnie Radke. Don't
Fuck
clip
Ronnie
this because
Radke.
he'll respond.
I'm glad I can finally say that without being brainwashed into thinking he was a good person. Anyway,
Fuck
um,
Ronnie Radke.
yeah, no, I definitely think that being in the music industry and just liking that type of music in general, the alternative, all our favorite bands.
Like I commented on some hate comment you got, and it was like from a person who collected vinyls, and I was like, I'm going through, and I looked through, and it's like all these bands like that play Warped Tour and shit, and it's like all of these bands would hate you. Like they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want you to support them if this is
Mm-hmm.
how you think.
Yep,
And like, holy
100%.
shit! Like,
Like, how do you idolize somebody who's so like trans pride, gay pride, human rights, and then be the complete fucking opposite person? Like,
that's straight up. No,
it
it's
would
like
like kill me if I thought that like fucking I don't know Harry Styles or Derek Sanders thought I was a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like that would
yeah,
make me want to be a better person.
yeah, no, straight up. But it would also like impact your relationship with the, or it
Mm-hmm.
should at least. Like,
Right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
100%. Now another question for you. Obviously I know how you feel, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. You have edited a lot of podcast and After Dark episodes where I'm straight up shitting all over cis men, all over them.
Do we get a thumbs down while we do it? Boo! It does thunderstorm.
That's funny as hell. I've shat on a lot of cis men. I've straight up been like, cis men fucking suck. I hate them. Um, and you've edited almost every single one of them. Now, do you ever? I know that you don't, but have you ever been like, damn?
No, no, and like I'd like to think I never would because that would be stupid. But you also do a very good job of every time you're like, "Not you, Max. I love you." So, but like if there were like, no, there's not been one time where I've heard that and been like,
Mm.
"Fuck that!" Like, and I think it's kind of great. I don't know if cis men just get annoyed about having a word in front of man, if they're just
Mm.
like, "What is cis?" Like, I'm a man. But no, like, no, no.
Just no. I do. That's why I am like, not you, Max. You're great. Because I do feel bad sometimes. Because I also don't want people to think I hate all cis men. I don't, whatever. I don't have to explain that. But I
Facts.
did get a comment the other day. This conversation reminds me. I got a comment the other day being like, oh, what did he say? He was like, how the fuck are you going to shit all over a large group of people, but say, just be nice? Because it was a video where I was like, why are you putting your opinion where it doesn't belong? Just be nice to people, blah, 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 blah. So the person commented and was like, how are you going to say that, but then shit all over cis men or men in general? And I was like, because cis men are the problem. And I was like, I kind of hit him with this one. I was like, my editor is a cis man, and he has edited every single one of these videos where I shit all over cis men, and he has never said a goddamn fucking word about it.
I quit.
Oh, I quit.
I'm out of here, guys.
No, but like for real, like it just goes to show it's possible to realize that people like you or that look like you, act like you, blah, blah, not act like, but like people that look like you or come from maybe the same experience as you can be horrible. It doesn't mean that you are. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Yeah.
I now that you're saying it, like I know many people, just like even through the band that I toured with like a few years ago. I don't Pink Shift. Listen to Pink Shift. They're great and they support trans people and everybody. So fucking
Great.
fuck falling in reverse. Um uh just through Pink Shift, it's like I met so many cis people, right, that I think are cis, that are so respectful. Like it's not even like if you're because it's so common that you come across other bands and artists that are not cis, and you can't just like, so either people are really fucking good at hiding it or they learn and grow. And a lot of these guys come from, if you're playing music, you grew up around instruments, like you're you prob like you could connect the dots there. There's so many exceptions to that, but a lot of
Mhm,
times musicians are somewhat privileged to begin with. So it's
mhm,
like that's coming from, you know, some place of ignorance and eventually coming to, a place of being in a punk band that is touring with a bunch of trans people, and it's like that's normal for that
right.
group of people. Like, but it's like, again, that's because it's like an alternative world and it shouldn't even be like that. But that's like the most that I've seen cis people be respectful and like just like talk to anyone, like trans people, non-binary people, like just like you would anybody.
Mhm,
Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and then people wonder why there is so many trans and non-binary people who are in those spaces because it's where we feel accepted and safe.
I mean, you should, like,
Yeah.
then I'm thinking about those fuckers again. Ronnie Radke. It's like there are exceptions to that. Like, don't
Right, that's
don't
true.
get me wrong.
Yeah,
I don't, it's not everything's like black and white.
yeah. Now, have you ever, I know you don't now because I don't think you would be friends with somebody who had shitty opinions, but maybe in high school, middle school, even, like, have you ever had any, like, cis guy friends or even cis women friends who or acquaintances that were really uneducated about transness or queerness in any way growing up? Like, do you ever, like, remember a time where somebody said something, like, super out of pocket about LGBT people and you not that, like, you were like, "Okay, I don't wanna be friends with you anymore," but, like, just remember being like, "Hmm,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah. Like honestly, not much specifically targeted at trans people. Most of what I remember is me being called the F slur because of like how I was in
mm,
elementary and middle school and stuff. And I grew up in like a very lax bro area.
mm."
Um, and immediately, if you don't play lacrosse, you're gay. Or if you do theater, you're gay. Like,
So
just letting
dumb.
you know. Um, so I mainly, like, I heard a lot of, homophobia, but directed at me. I
Mm,
never saw or heard homophobia, transphobia, anything like that directed at other people, but I also was never in the spaces where that would happen.
mm,
I'm sure when those kids all grew up and went to the bars, like if I was still hanging out with them, I'm sure I'd hear it all the time. But
mm,
um I'm sure, like, because in my life I've heard the T slur too many times, but like through
mhm,
just like ignorant fuckers at home. And I think the first time that I was like told what trans was using that word by a family member, not even knowing they were using the wrong word. I
mm.
remember this conversation, like we were really young, and thinking back to it, like it was probably like a really politically incorrect conversation. But I remember this person giving me the talk like it was like being trying to be respectful, like being like, this is why you can't just assume because there's like this and this and this and this, but it's like using that word. So yeah,
That's
and
such like a
keep in mind this is like 2004 or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like still, it's like just completely ignorant and
Mhm.
trying to be good and and kind of arguably
Right.
doing the opposite. But that was the first time I think I ever heard that word,
Do
but
you
I've never heard. I mean, that's transphobic, yes, but I haven't heard like someone being transphobic to somebody in person
mm,
at any point.
well, that's good.
Online, I've seen a fuck ton of it because I fucking check out your comments and reply occasionally. Fucking dumbasses.
Dude, I know, you should see the ones from today, from the last After Dark episode, they're vile. Um,
Uh,
but do you think that because you were maybe a target at school? Because you did theater and stuff, right? You said?
Yeah, and I danced. Outing this right now because I've never publicly said it. I did competitive dance for like fucking 3 or 4 years.
That's so wholesome. I love that.
Yeah,
Break out a move right now. I'm just
prime
kidding.
prime Justin Bieber time. That kind of
No, I
slapped.
love that. It did kind of slap. Damn. Do you think because maybe you were bullied a little bit, like you know what it's like, does that play a part in why you maybe are?
I'm sure that does play a huge factor. I don't know why I didn't say that sooner, but yeah, being called the F slur all the time definitely made me very sensitive towards that topic
Mm,
for
no,
sure.
that makes sense. That makes sense. And people are so fucking stupid because, like, you're literally a straight cis man.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's like it's fucked up. Family members had bets placed on if I was going to be gay or not because I danced and did theater and like never
That's
really
fucked
was
up.
like I always had long hair as a kid. Like I wanted like trying to think of like who the it was just at the time when like all the guys had like long hair, like that Harry Potter era.
Hmm.
Everyone had just
Hmm.
like long boys had long hair. I was, so I guess that I
Made you gay in
that
a
made me
way.
gay. Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid. Because my next question was gonna be like, if you ever saw anybody like being or joking in a homophobic or transphobic way, like how did you stay on like the respectful route in life? But I guess hearing that you were kind of bullied for almost the same things, but you weren't even gay, I guess is
That's what makes it
probably
different because I had no internal struggle about any of this. I did question it made me I was like, am I like I don't or genuinely,
right.
but like it's not the same thing as just general bullying, and boys use that fucking the F slur all the time. Like even if
Mhm.
they don't think the person's gay, so it's like you could
Yeah,
chalk it up to just that. But like yeah, it's fucked up.
I was just gonna say, like, since you maybe did grow up that way in theater, blah 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 blah. Did you ever felt like as you grew up as a cis man in society, when you weren't a kid anymore, you weren't like dancing maybe became embarrassing to do because of society? Did you feel like you couldn't show any signs of being gay or any feminine qualities or even talking about your feelings or sharing emotions? Did you ever feel like you couldn't or expressing your sexuality at all? Like, did you ever feel like you couldn't because of society as a cis man?
Inside, yes, but something about me. I feel like Tyler said something kind of about this with just him being a kid. I don't know if I'm wrong or not about this, but like I always had that feeling inside of being very like I don't want to be judged. Like I don't want people to make fun of me. I did care very much what other people thought, but at the same time, I think I might have told you this. I would do that like I there's like a Halloween dance at my school, the early school I was talking about that's like, you know, worse than our high school. Like our high school was pretty bad. Like and it's just like very like
Yeah,
no one was openly gay at this school. Like,
it's true.
and it's Halloween dance in like middle school. And I showed up with like my eyeliner and Billy Joe from Green Day hair and red tie with like the black suit on. But I remember I literally like I put makeup on my face at a time where I was like being made fun of and was questioning. I'm like, am I gay because everyone's calling me gay? But then it was also like turned around and was just like, but I don't think it was like a direct choice, like me being like, I don't care what anyone thought. I thought I cared very much what other people thought, but I just like would have these moments where I just be like, I so badly want to be like Billy Joe, and I would just do it. So like
Mhm.
maybe outwardly it didn't look like I was very concerned with those things. Um, and up until like the end of high school, I was very concerned with what other people thought of me, but not like concerned if they thought I was gay. Like I don't know if this means anything to say it from this perspective when I'm not gay, but like I feel like if I was, like I remember kind of feeling like that might help because then it's like at least it's like I am. You know what I mean? And could
Right.
like be like, "Fuck you, I am gay." Like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
instead of being like, "Stop, like I'm not." Like, why do I have to say that?
Yeah, dead ass. Like as if being gay is bad, but like I think that's super fucking wholesome. To be honest, you mean because you said you were you were afraid of people judging you, but that didn't stop you. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be exactly who you want to be.
Well, that I would like to say it was like that, but it was like it wasn't like I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna be me. I was just clueless and would like be like, well, I really wanted to look like Billy Joe, and then I'd do it and get made fun of and be like, oh, like why did I do that? Because they would just say, like.
Yeah.
So looking back on it, it's like that's the type of story that like my dad may tell us, like, look what Max did. He stood up for himself. But it's like that wasn't really what it was in the moment. I was just so zoned in on whatever it was I was gonna do that was gonna embarrass me that I didn't even think about the outcome.
Yeah, but that was cool to you. I understand why like a
Yeah, yeah,
kid would do it anyway because it's like, oh, but it's so cool. They're gonna love this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I
Straight up.
mean?
No, it's true. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your full question, but
No, you did. Because I was also gonna say that um you, I don't know if you still do, but you definitely you painted your nails a lot, and I remember as a I never liked to paint my nails. I never fucking did that before I was trans, and then when I was on hormones for a little bit, I saw you doing it, and I was like, "That's kind of dope as hell." What the fuck? So I
I
did it.
stole it from somebody too. That's how it goes.
Yeah, so I did it, thinking he was fucking. Well, this guys are doing it. It's fucking dope now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
same
I
with
think that
me.
shit's important.
That's literally it. Like I wouldn't have been the first one to do it. Don't get me wrong, but like I saw other people doing it, and the band thing is an easy excuse. Like
Mm.
if I was not in a band, I might not have done that because I was never like I don't go out anywhere, I don't go places. It's not like I'm going places and expressing myself like with how I dress really or anything like that.
Mhm.
If I was um and not involved with the band stuff, that would be how I would do it probably, but I was just like if anyone is judging me, again, still kind of caring what people think towards the end of high school and shit, being like I'm in a band, like I'm in like a rock band, so like fuck you. Like when like friends, family members say weird shit to me, I'm just like, well, I'm in a band, like fuck you. Now I just don't. I'm just like fucking whatever. Like I don't care. Um,
Mhm.
and I haven't done it in a while. I mainly did it just when I was like on stage to look cool. But yeah, I do. It's like fuck it. And now there are NBA players who do it. Shout out,
Mhm.
I think his name's O'Shea Brissett on the Celtics. He paints his nails. It's fucking awesome. And people like in the comments are like, "Why are you getting mad about a guy painting their nails, bro? It's 2024." And I'm like, "Holy
This
shit!"
the same motherfuckers would make fun of the both of us
Oh, for sure.
fucking 2
But
years
like,
ago.
but it's because this guy's like, a
Yeah,
professional athlete, so it's okay.
yeah, fucking stupid as shit.
But it's
But I'm
becoming
happy.
people should fucking paint their nails. Some dude from our high school who was older than me reached out to me and was like, "It's cool that you're painting your nails, man. I always wanted to do that." I was like, "Fucking do it, dude!" Like,
Hell yeah.
but
I
that's also
love
me
that.
just saying it from a place of like, I'm comfortable. I don't care what fucking people say. But I guess if you're in a
Mhm,
state of questioning yourself a lot and feeling insecure already, and you don't want to put yourself out there more,
mhm.
you know, like then, but
I do think it is kind of important though, because that's 2 people you got them to feel more comfortable with themselves and showing people who they are by just painting your nails, you know what I mean? Like, shit like
yeah,
that
and
does go a far way.
yeah, and I mean, they're just like we kind of will go back and forth on like I'll see you wearing things and I'll be like, ooh, like that's cool. Like I gotta, like that's how anything works. Like with
Right.
friends, you like
Yeah, that's true.
or how it should
Facts.
make each other
I
better.
period. Say that again.
Make each other better. Did you not hear me?
um, my next question for you is about cis male validation, which I've talked about many times, but I've never really gotten your perspective on it. Um, and I know you know, because you've heard me yap about it over and over again. But everybody craves cis male validation, right? I do, or I have. Women have. Do you think that cis men also crave cis male validation? And if so, have you ever?
Yes, I crave validation from everybody. Cis men, cis women, trans men. I'm like, I want everybody to like me all the time. I would be lying if I didn't say that. I'm trying more and more not to care, and it doesn't like affect like my daily choices, but it's always there. I care the least about cis men now because it's like y'all are the
Mm,
fuckers who were like making fun of me in high school
mhm.
and shit. So it's like, now it's like I really don't care. Like if those guys swipe up on my story, I'm just gonna like repost it and like laugh about it, But like
Mm.
it's like, but that's because they're the most insensitive. So it's like I know that it's like you're just fucking saying shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like now as a society, everyone is like finally coming to terms with that. But like, I've never genuinely understood, even me, why I have craved it. I mean, I get it from like a trans standpoint, which is like I crave cis male validation because I so badly wanted to be cis at a certain point in my life. And like, I guess I am asking you as a cis man if you've craved it in like the same way because cis men, because everybody craves it because they're horrible people sometimes. Does that make sense? Like, oh,
Yeah,
you're such a dick. I want you to like me because I want to be
yeah,
somebody you.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah, does
now
that make sense?
it's coming back to me. I used to buy kids ice cream at that school to be on their football team at lunch. Like if they see
Oh,
this, they'll know who I'm talking about. I remember their names. There's a few of them. They'd be like, "Yeah, you could play with us, but only you got to use your ice cream card on fucking me." Like that's how you know the school had fucking ice cream. Like no, soft serve. Um, we quickly moved
that's.
out of that bitch, by the way. But yeah, like or being like I went from dance straight to hockey. Like I played hockey as a kid, but then I stopped dancing and switched over to hockey. And I don't think that was a conscious choice of like I need to be more manly, but I
Mm,
definitely felt more comfortable telling people in my school or whatever that I had hockey practice as opposed to dance rehearsal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? In
Hmm.
reality, though, if you're like looking at it from a cis man's perspective, like my mom used to tell me, like, tell them that you're around all the girlies, though. Like you're hanging with all the gals, like
Hmm.
all the time. Like, you know what I mean? And but it's like it doesn't matter. It's like gay,
Yeah.
you're fucking
Yeah.
dancing. Um, so yeah,
Uh,
I think in that way, I would try to prove myself and be like, well, like
yeah.
yeah, I could still play basketball, like even though I dance, but it's like that's
Mm,
again like there's not much fear on my end for any. It's like I don't really need to. I don't have some like deep lifelong need to prove myself, to
mhm.
anyone really, and that's like a luxury, I guess. Like I still feel like I need to prove like myself to everybody, but it's not like in like a really self-validating kind of way.
Right. It's not for the male gaze.
Yeah, and that's like where the comfort of like being cis is like I don't have to, it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm not questioning myself. So like if you could think whatever you want, it does affect me. Like I care, but like it doesn't affect me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's not
Right.
setting me off my track.
Yeah. Period. No, I love that, and I obviously think that's how all people, cis men included, obviously, should think. Because, like, imagine if we all just stopped, like, craving validation from cis men, if we stopped doing things for other cis men, if even cis men stopped doing things for other cis men just to feel validated, like, the world would be a better place. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
yeah. And
Like,
the toxic cis men would get more mad. That's the thing.
mm,
They'd be getting
that's
less
facts.
fucking attention.
That's true. That I think we actually covered this question a little bit, but I forgot to mention this earlier. Um, August from the Discord. Which is actually funny. There was some I talked about having a cis man on the podcast like a month or so ago, and before I said that it was probably going to be you, somebody I forget who it was right now, but somebody was like, when you have the cis man on, ask him where he gets the fucking nerve. And it made me laugh really fucking
Oh, that's
hard.
good. We got to get the somebody's name.
No,
That's a
I'm
good
gonna go
one.
find it. I'm gonna go find it after this. But August from Discord said, how have you dealt with toxic masculinity, whether that be your own or from societal pressure. I guess we kind of covered that, but like, I guess not in a sense of like transness, like, because there's toxic men who that has nothing to do with being trans. You know what I mean? And like, I've seen you interact with Nikki, like your girlfriend, my best friend. Like you have no, and I'm sure everybody has their toxic traits, but on paper, you don't have that like actual toxic masculinity sense of self that most cis men do. So I guess, yeah, like in that sense, have you dealt with toxic masculinity, whether that be in your own or from societal pressure?
Yeah, I think I definitely have like still like some like toxic masculinity, like need to feel like I need to like make money so I could like get a house for me and my girlfriend. Obviously, she's like we're doing this together and we're like we would be splitting like a lot everything, but like it's like I'm like I feel some sort of sense to like provide this like stupid shit, but I also have no problem like if Nikki made it big tomorrow and started paying all the bills, I'd happily say that Nikki takes care of everything. Like there's not a pride thing when Nikki pays at dinner, like
Mhm,
anything like that. Like, we're very even in what we do, but there is like I guess
mhm,
like for me the lingering toxic masculinity is like that kind of stuff, like the husband type,
mm,
like traditional stupid shit. But it's like I don't actually care about that stuff. It just is there, you
right.
know.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that as a trans person too. Like, and like that's how you know you're a good fucking person because that's not even like that toxic like at all. Like I think some people would say like, well, obviously some people would say, well, the man should provide, but I mean, I guess that's kind of funny because in a way, like maybe for cis men that can be a toxic way of thinking, but if for a trans man, that's almost like gender euphoric, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like
Because
validating.
sometimes, yeah, it's like validating his shit when I feel like I need to provide for Cat in a way, you know what I
Right.
mean? That's like a weird blah, blah. But
Very true. But no, if toxic masculinity exists, like I mean, I've interacted with many people who are like that, but like
mhm,
as soon as it becomes like hateful, it's like I mean, I haven't. There's never been a shocker of someone that I'm hanging with that pulls something like that out, and I'm like, oh, I have to stop hanging with you because it's like it would have happened already. Like if you know what I mean, or if
that's
I've met
facts.
you at this place, like by the I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
there hasn't been many times where I'd have to ditch people because they're fucking homophobic or what transphobic or whatever, but it's also like those were the guys who were mean to me anyway, so I wouldn't have been hanging with them.
that's true. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I love that. Um, this next question is kind of funny. It's from Lewis from the Discord. Do you think when a cis man is transphobic towards trans men, it could be because they're threatened? If so, why?
I'm sure it could be. Like, I mean, I feel like people and like fragile men in general are threatened by a lot of things and won't admit it, but they're threatened by different things. They're threatened by new things. They're
Mm,
people, but like definitely like the type of toxic cis man that I'm thinking about whenever you say cis man, they want to be comfortable and fucking living in their world, like with their boys and their girls and doing their fucking thing. It's like as soon as something new comes into the fucking neighborhood, like metaphorically, it's like you know, a
yeah.
fucking an issue. Where's I going with that?
No, that's I think that's pretty much it. Like I think people again get so uncomfortable when there's something new that they have to hate it otherwise they'll come off the same way.
I do know people who would say the type of like who would feel threatened and say something like, oh well, you must know, like they got to be better than me, like they know more about women than me, they got to be better in bed, like like that kind of thing, like they'll come and steal my girl, like where it's like similar to what you've mentioned of like, oh, you're growing more facial hair than me. It's like you think you're doing something good, but you're like being transphobic like at the same time. It's like backhanded transphobia. It's like you're like you're still separating
Mhm.
the two.
Right.
So it's like I there's that kind of like toxic masculinity from a cis person towards a trans person. That's the
Mhm.
only thing I've seen. I think I'm sure you're familiar with those types of people, but
Oh yeah, I have many of those people, or I had many of those people in my life. Like I remember, I've always had a girlfriend at throughout me growing up, or as a trans person, I've pretty much, for the most part, have always had somebody. And remember, he was
slay
always just like,
king.
he was always like, you know, I'm not even trans and I can't get a girlfriend. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Holy shit!
Like, excuse me? Like,
Like, bro, I'm normal and I still struggle. That boy is anything from normal. I don't know. Like, it's always the fuckers like that are like the least likely to find someone. Because
Mhm.
you think that, like, the fact that you're even saying that shows that you're just like a fucking incel.
No,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
100%. And you have people like my dad always looks at my facial hair or the hair on my legs or whatever, and is like, I can't even do that. What do you mean you can't even? I'm putting testosterone into my body. Like, same hormone you have, bro. Like, I don't I don't understand why you're so confused.
They don't listen.
I know. But you're right. It comes from a good place. It's just an uneducated place that it comes off like
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's
lesser
so
than you.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. I don't even think it's like, it's not credit that it comes from a good place, but it's like it's like they're not going at it like the kids that we grew up with trying to be like actually bully you and take you down. It's like they're actually trying to hype you up but are
Mm,
being really offensive. It's like you might as well have the intentions of being offensive
yeah.
because it comes off the same way, but it's still
Mhm.
it's just a different layer of that toxic onion.
And then if you say that, if you're like, I know it was coming from a good place, but the way you said it hurt my feelings, they can't hear that because
Oh,
it's
come on.
immediately yeah. Well, come on. What
What do you want me to do?
doing?
They, them, fucking. How many am I supposed to keep track of? We learned this
Deadass.
in elementary school.
Mhm. And then
Pronouns.
and then it becomes that, trans people or gay people are snowflakes because it's the way you said it that hurt me. But literally, it was the way you said it because I know your intentions aren't that bad, but like the way you fucking said it is hurtful.
I,
I
I
go off all
also,
that.
just side note, it's crazy that people think that saying things like that, like it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
Mm.
That makes you soft. Like that makes you a snowflake. Like it's so much softer to just be like, oh, fuck you, bro, like or fucking like fight someone or like whatever,
Right.
like use
Mhm.
your fucking words. Like
Dead
these are things that you
ass.
learn in therapy. It's like communication. Like you fucking, like, I don't
Dead
know, like
ass.
all those people. It's like, I don't know, it's a whole tangent, but fucking stupid.
Fucking dumb. I'm glad you agree. Okay, another subject I'm going to jump into right now. I said it many times, but you are my only very close cis man friend. And that is for a reason, because you are so great and because cis men in general fucking awful. But but it's also because I have struggled as a trans man to befriend other cis men. One, because they're fucking awful. Two, because I'm insecure about about how I act, if I'm not man enough to be friends with you or another cis person before. And like, I think that plays a part into why, like, when we first started being friends, maybe we could have been friends a lot sooner than we started being friends, but we didn't, because I was scared, because I didn't know how to act, because you made me fucking nervous. And like, there are times, not anymore, but like throughout our friendship, there have been times where I've been nervous in front of you because I am so afraid that a cis man is going to judge me and not think I'm man enough. Not that you ever would, because you're a good person,
No, I
but
got
like,
you. I got you.
it's it's definitely a fear of a lot of trans men. And like, I only know fucking Tyler. It's the only one that really comes to mind. He's like the only one who's like friends with lots of cis men, or a bunch of cis men, where a lot of us feel like we can't be for a bunch of different reasons. So, a long-winded way to get to my question is: Do you and it's a big one, so if you can't answer it, it's okay. But do you maybe have any advice for trans men who don't know how to befriend a cis man? It's very much giving. How do we make friends? But
No, like I mean, I'm sure that everyone has this general like putting yourself out there. How do you? I don't know how to meet new friends. Like I think about that all the time, and it's like it's just a lot of people I feel like wouldn't admit that. So it's not. It doesn't sound like lame or anything. I am from a cis perspective. Like I don't. You know, I would say I'll say my advice, and I don't know if it's like actually worth considering. Like I don't know if it's like, but I already said like gigs, go to gigs, like, and
Mm.
not like falling in reverse. Go to like a Pink Shift gig or like a Destroy Boys gig. Go to those shows, and 90% of the people at those shows, not everybody, there's always some weird dads there, but 90% of the people, and you'll be able to spot them. Like you'll just be able to tell, will be accepting and are there to also make friends.
Wow, that was like solid advice that I wouldn't have thought of. Like, yeah, go to concerts or gigs that the band is trans pride, gay pride, and all that, because 90% of the time their fans are going to be allies or trans people themselves. That's
Yeah, I mean,
solid
and like
advice.
creep in fucking comment sections and like you like see, like if there's like there you'll probably find like a lot of trans flags and non-binary flags in bios and lack thereof. But if you see the pronouns, you're probably good. And that's also a huge thing. I would think if there's a cis person that has pronouns in their bio, I think you could assume that they're understanding, right?
I love seeing when cis men have their pronouns in their bios and shit. But at first, when that first started becoming a thing, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it why people were doing that, and I was mad. I was like, "Why are they doing this? They're taking the attention away from
Oh,
us." And I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, they're
got you.
being allies."
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like that makes perfect sense. Like the biggest thing is the band thing. That's a huge like
Yeah,
lane, I feel like, because there are those fuckers, like the fuckers that comment occasionally on your posts that have like the vinyl person. It's like
yeah.
there's bands in there that like, so if they go to that show, they're the one out of fucking 100 that are not gonna be chill, or whatever. But that's why social media, that's where you
and
meet the people.
and if your favorite genre of music is country, you're fucked. Sorry.
I mean, you just found a lane, my friend. We got to make you a country record. You're gonna fucking break the South, literally. Why has
Yeah,
no one
that
done
is.
that? There's got to be some good country out there that's not racist and homophobic.
I bet you there is 100%.
Not that they're dropping slurs in the songs, but I'm sure some of these guys, these old country heads, are
Oh
not
yeah.
the most progressive.
Oh, not at all. I like country. Okay, I'll say it. I fucking fuck with country, but I can't actually like country because the people who sing those songs and go to those concerts are most of the time not good people. So
There, those are like the fuckers that were like mean to me in high school. Go see
yeah,
Luke Bryan. I don't know if Luke
yeah.
Bryan's a good guy or anything, but like he came to mind.
The people who like them, I think, do tend to be transphobic. To be honest.
There's there you could draw some parallels,
Hmm.
and just like a lot of punk people are like queer or whatever. Like there's
Hmm.
it always kind of was the case. Like you know most and nail paint. If you see a man at a concert with their nails painted, they're out in public. That's a pretty clear sign
Go up to him and say, "Hey, do you like trans people?"
that they're at least open to be
Open
like they're
minded.
not super like what's the word, like they're comfortable with their sexuality and like I'm
Yeah.
sure they also take shit for painting their nails from other men and have to be able to be like, hey bro, like it's fine.
Period.
So
Yeah. No, that's solid advice. I appreciate
still
that.
people who paint their nails are fucking dickheads, so like you know
Because there are people out there who paint their nails just to paint their nails and not like, well, not just to paint their nails, but they do it because they see that it gets the attention from women sometimes. And those people do exist. What would you say to somebody, another cis man who was clearly transphobic or homophobic? Like in
uh,
person, like say your friend automatically was just like turned into a transphobe. out of nowhere.
Probably the first thing I would say was, do you know what I do? Like, literally my entire life revolves around a podcast about trans topics. Like, why are you here?
Deadass.
Like, if that's actually how you feel, like, leave.
Yeah.
Like, if I found out that a band member, thank God, my band members are fucking great. Like,
Mhm.
other good cis men, like some of the only 2 cis men I know that aren't fucking, in some way, shape, or form, some scumbags.
Mhm.
If it's a room that I could kick them out of, I would say leave. Like, it's like, and that would be it. You know, it's like,
Mm.
there's no one that I've interact with that's happened ever, and if it did, I would be truly shocked, and it would be the end of a friendship, because it's just like, I'm sure there are some progressive people that like could say, well, like, it doesn't affect me, like, I mean, they have weird opinions, but like, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like, no, like, that's a fundamental difference.
Mhm.
It's like we're talking about like human rights and stuff, not just like your sports team.
Mhm.
So it's like, if you are voting a certain way and vote, like, supporting people who support fucked up things, you might as well be doing the same thing. It's
Right.
like,
No, I agree with you. I asked you that question not like trying to put you on the spot of like, what would you say to a transphobe as a cis man? I asked you in like hopes that like maybe there's a cis man out here listening right now and can see that it is possible for a cis man to be a good person and not have transphobic views. You know what I mean? Like, and to
but it's
stick
like,
up for
yeah,
trans people too. I think it's super important.
yeah. I mean, just like fucking grow up. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
fucking, it's fucking 2020 something.
It's real gay of you to be homophobic.
Facts, dude.
um,
It also just looks like you're insecure.
facts. That is, I mean, hey, if you're a hateful person, all it tells the world is that you hate yourself. Point blank. Period. My last question for you that I've never asked a cis person before, or a cis man. What does being a man mean to you?
Wings, money, chicken wings. Um, no, I don't know. I think I I don't want to sound like a pick me at all, but I definitely take pride in that. I want to be different than the other guys. I want to be like, a safe cis man. Like, that's something that I take pride in. I don't like work at it actively, but like just constantly like learning, and if something new comes up, next week, it's like, not, don't just shit on it. Like, what I mean? And
Mm,
that is something that I think isn't as much of a concern, but that's also something that like a toxic guy would say probably makes me less of a man, because I'm not focused on my bankroll, my payroll, or whatever. But like,
mm,
I don't know. I think like there are I am a man that's not like a man's man. Like, you know what I
mm,
mean? I definitely look like I was a theater kid or music kid in high school. And that plays a factor probably in why I'm not like super like toxic masculine kind of man.
mm,
But yeah, I guess to me, like, I don't know. Like, my mom says I dress kind of flamboyant sometimes. And I'm like, no, I don't. But it's like, I guess that for me is like, that's my type of man. Like, I'm like,
mhm,
I don't like, yes, I paint my nails and have like silly tattoos and like wear earrings and have my hair long and stuff like that. It's like,
mm,
but that's always kind of just how I was. So it's like, and I did care very much about like being like a hot man when I was like growing up. Like, I want to be a man. But then I never got that tall and always stayed kind of weird. So it's like, I like those kind of men more. And most of the people I
Yeah.
interact with are people like similar to me. So it's like,
Mhm.
being a man to me is like not being like a man, And
Period.
that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah. Honestly, That might have been one of the best answers yet to that question. Like, I love
Okay, good.
that.
'Cause I didn't know if that made any sense.
No, it did. Being a man isn't what being a man means to you is not necessarily being a man. Like, there's no being a man. It's just being respectful and open minded at the end of the day. I love that.
I
Period.
think that's more like if I saw a manly man appearing guy act like that, I'd be like, holy shit, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah,
what?
that's
You know
facts.
what I mean?
That's facts.
I
Yeah.
feel like it'll reach that place one day in the future. It may take a very long time because people
Mhm.
suck, but there
Mhm.
will be a time one day where like everyone's like, you know, like I will seem very politically incorrect down the road when like, you know, it may take a fucking 100 years, but like
Yeah.
there will be a time where it's not even a thing, you know?
We'll both be on our deathbeds. We see it. Fist bump.
Yeah, facts.
We called it.
Allies. 100 years to the day.
Max, where can people follow you?
Instagram, Max_McGill. TikTok, Max_McGill. I don't really post on either of those. Post my Instagram stories sometimes. Music, thedeepend.li on Instagram. That's kind of it. That's our like website basically. So
Hell yeah, brother. Max is very humble and he's not going to tell you that he and his band just dropped a new song called Terminal. It will be in the description below.
thank you. I should have said that. I appreciate you.
No, you're good. Please, please, please go check out The Deep End. Check out Max. He's such a talented musician and singer. I truly, truly, and I'm not just gassing him up right now. I have never met somebody more talented in my life. Please go check out The Deep End.
Stop.
You will not regret it.
I love you. Thank you.
Of course.
You're so
of
sweet.
course. Make sure you follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I post almost every single day. Make sure you join my Discord, subscribe to my Patreon. There will be bonus content from this episode on Patreon. Max is mimicking me because he knows my fucking spiel like the back of his hand.
I have content coming out my ass, guys. Seriously, you're missing out so much. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to be cool.
If you want to be cool, if you want to be spicy, subscribe to my Patreon. I would appreciate it. And again, I'm going to say it again. Please, please, please go follow Max on social media and go stream Terminal. Hell yeah.
Did you call out all your things? I thought you missed one. Oh, you're gaming.
Oh yeah. I stream video games on Twitch every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out. Max is there most of the time, so come chill with us. And yeah, turn on my post notifications. I drop podcast episodes every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I drop After Dark videos on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And everybody, let's just give a round of applause to Max because he has edited up to fucking, like, I don't even know, 50 of the podcast episodes, and he edits every single After Dark video. And I cannot thank him enough. I love him with all my heart.
I love you. Applause to Kat, too. Kat's been taking over.
Yes. Yes,
Kat's
my lovely girlfriend.
I can't take all the credit here.
You could take the credit up until like episode like 50 or whatever it was, but Kat took it from there, and Kat is doing a 100% perfect job, and we love her so much as well. God, I love everybody in my life. Okay. I love you all so much. HRT, that is what our group chat is called. I kind of love that. All right, y'all. I love you all so much. Max, thank you so much for being here today. I love you so much.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye. Bye. Just like that.
Fuck yeah, dude.